Yeah, you're good. Let's do it live on a Tuesday edition. Merely Bo, the great Z, Gibby in a meeting. How you living,
course
buddy?
he is.
He's always in meetings, lots of meetings.
How can he be in a meeting at 1 o'clock? Like he should
I don't know. I feel like I would say, look, I have
I
obligations.
have a show that happens to be from 1 to 3. So
It
my
says-
calendar's blocked off from 1 to 3.
Head honcho, it says over there.
Yeah, he's
There's
now
a
we've
thing.
got the two Stevies, the two S's
Yeah, they're in the mix.
running everything.
Well, there you go. How you been? I missed you
I know,
yesterday.
I missed you too. It's been too long.
You had the big Cornerstone of Hope.
Yeah, Cornerstone of
engagement,
Hope golf
which was
outing.
awesome, the
It was-
outing?
Yeah,
Where
it
were you
was
guys at?
Great. At Firestone.
Oh, right, coming right off the heels of the senior.
We
the
played
senior
those
thing.
pins. They were in some very delicate spots.
So did oh wow.
So we had to play the course basically as it was set
And
up
you
for them.
had-
We didn't play their tees. I wish we did. It would have been fun. It's an awesome course.
It's really hard. It's long. It's really long.
It's long. It's straight. It's
Yeah.
narrow.
Yeah.
And the fairways were cut. The average fairway they said was 28 yards wide, so not big.
So probably slow play because a lot of people can't live in that.
And what
world.
was cool though, because even though it was an outing, one thing they did was cool is that how many times do people get to go play Firestone South? Everybody got to play their own ball. You just did a straight up best ball, no handicaps, nothing.
straight up best ball? So you just played your ball all the way in, or you?
Yeah,
played
so you got to play your shot. You got
The
to
whole
play.
way.
You got to play the golf course basically, which was
Okay.
pretty cool.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. One team had a couple of ringers. They've won it 2 of the last 3 years. So they had, I think, a +3, a scratch, and then another guy who was like a low single digit.
Well, the only thing I would say though is like in that instance with no handicaps and play your own ball, the best golfer's going to. So they would.
They
win
are
all the
gonna
time,
win, and
every
they did
time.
win.
So
Yeah,
like you got to have
they did
something
win.
to
They did win.
even that out a little.
Or
bit.
you just
gotta-
have to load up your teams.
I prefer evening it out.
My team, tremendous humans. We were not the best golfers out there, but we
That's
had
okay.
fun.
Great
played
humans.
well. Yeah, great humans.
Oops. Did
We
we have?
did not come in last. Which I
Did
think
you
was very good.
experiment with playing the tees for your handicap?
No, I think that's a good idea.
That's what people should do.
Yeah,
That's what people should do in general. That's my.
I was pumped. I hit 16-2, which
Okay.
is the big long one. It didn't. I hit it into. It rolled into the. I don't understand how anybody could actually hold a long wood or a hybrid even onto that green. It's such a small green for a 5. From where we played, it's 590. Where they played 650. It's a long hole.
Didn't Tiger put it on there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He had a high cut. You got to hit a high cut.
Yeah.
But it was cool. Course is in great shape, obviously. They had just
they
had the
just
event
played it.
there. The greens were fast. The fairways are so good. You could really spin the ball out of the fairways. It was fun. Fun course. I hit the ball well. I was very pleased. Played well.
I've been around there. I've never been on the grounds.
Yeah, it was really neat. And I would say the West course looks awesome. It's like redone. It's, I think, Fazio, and it's all kind of linksy. Looks beautiful. And then the North course, everybody says, is the most fun. The South is just hard.
Yeah.
But it's neat. You're in the clubhouse and you're seeing Jack Nicklaus won the PGA Championship there. Tiger obviously won. Anybody who's really a golfer of consequence of the last 70 years played there and probably won there at some point.
Well, Tiger had a run where between that and the Memorial, he won them both 5+ times.
Yeah.
I mean, that's was kind of what he did. Like those were places that he was like, I'm going to go win there. So if you're our age and you're a man, you're 40, like those were huge tournaments because Tiger was at his best
Yeah.
at those tournaments
Yeah.
when we were watching.
And
a
it
ton of golf.
rewards the best ball striker. You got to hit it. You have to strike it straight off the tee into these very narrow fairways with tough rough, and then greens that are all, most of them are elevated and kind of bold, so that if you don't necessarily hit it where you want, they run off.
Yeah.
and put you in very, very
Muirfield's like
precarious
that, where like
positions.
all the greens are up and protected. So
Yeah.
if you don't land them and keep them, you're cooked.
Yeah, not a great scenario, but it was super fun.
That's great.
I did win a closest to the hole. It went
Nice.
to 5 feet on one of the par threes. My pitch mark, if this was the hole, was literally. I mean, I missed dunking by an inch. That's not an exaggeration. By an inch, would have been just a pure dunk. It was
Like straight in, or was it
Yeah.
a bounce in?
It would have been if had it gone in. It would have been.
You were an
straight
inch
in,
from a straight in.
From a straight in. My ball mark was
Wow.
almost in the outside of the cup.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but then it did not go in, which was sad because that would have been a great ace. It would have been
Yeah.
a great story for us all. But I did win that, and I won a Tito's golf bag, and a guy was like, I really want that bag. And it was a nice looking bag. It was
Sure.
orange, so it looked good. I was like, you know
Yeah.
what? Maybe I could use a new bag.
Yeah.
Why not? I
Why
was
not?
thinking about it.
Was it like one of the pro bags, like a heavy?
No, it was in a
duty,
big staff
or-
bag. It was a nice double strap shoulder. It was a Callaway bag.
Okay.
Very nice stand bag with the legs and all that. And the guy came over and he's like, I really want that. I'm like, all right.
Right.
You know, it doesn't, I'm like, all right.
What's it worth to
So
you, pal?
he's like, I wasn't gonna like start negotiating with him, and he was basically like, I'll give you $100, and I'm like, just give it to Cornerstone, fine.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like-
What do you?
like,
Yeah, you know. I don't think you on that type of a deal. I think the etiquette would be, what is there anything you'd be interested in on a trade? Is probably the way that would go, because you're not going to take any money. I mean, like you're.
I was
You're on the
happy to
board.
do that.
Yeah,
give it
you-
right
you
back
can
to
have
the
that.
give it right back
Give
to
it back to
Cornerstone.
them.
But yeah, great event, great day. Got lucky the weather held off, so it was
nothing.
very nice all day, and it was good. And then now, here we are, 4 days away
dude.
from head. Dude, speaking of,
We had a
dude, appropriate.
Well, yeah, very.
Yeah.
Before we get and wipe all the way to that, I just wanted to just say one thing.
Bravo.
Yesterday's rundown started with, it was like there was a line, I forget the exact line, but it almost gave me the shakes. And it was like, it's here, quarterbacks Wednesday, camp practice Saturday, and it's like, how did this happen?
Oh, I
How
thought
did
it was
we-
going to be you got this.
No, it's not. You got this.
Yeah.
No. We're
Yeah.
in season now.
Okay.
Well, sort of.
Yeah.
No, but it like hit me like too quick. I'm excited. I mean, it's you see guys, but like this came so quick this summer with the Hoff. I mean,
Yes.
that's sped up.
It's really accelerated. I'll be, in West Virginia on Saturday, which is crazy to say, but we're ready to go. And this team, I find that people are having a tough time with the discourse of this team. At the end of the thing, I did a little spiel on the Browns and a Q&A for all the people there. And I've noticed even some of the people covering the team have said, this is a hard team to cover right now. It's because you can't really poke holes in the roster. There really aren't a lot of intriguing camp battles. We are set up to be an elite offense. We are set up to be a very good defense. The talent is there. The coaching is there. And so the normal pontification about, who's going to emerge and do this? Who's going to be the surprise starter? Who's going to be, are we sure we're okay at this spot? Or do we have enough at that spot? Are our receivers good enough? All of the things we normally talk about with the Cleveland Browns, is our quarterback good enough? And I think that's the one that remains, just because you haven't seen him do it in a Browns uniform the way he had done. And by the way, you just don't forget how to be a 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback. I think that, and you can see already the night and day difference from last year to this year, even in minicamp. There just aren't a lot of questions other than, can we win when the games count? Like, what will our record be when these games matter? This is not, boy, I hope we can cover up this, or, but man, how are we going to have to play with Jacoby while Deshaun is out? None of that. We're fully formed. We have a lot of stars at very important positions, and now we need to just go out and do it.
We had AP join me for You Guys Figure It Out 2:00 segment, and I said exactly what you just said, which is, this is a hard team to talk about, right? Like, and I think it's because it's a simple answer. If Deshaun Watson is what he is and was, we're great.
Yeah.
Not good, we're great. You go win the Super Bowl with this roster.
Yes.
You're not good, you're great. But he's just got to go do that. And so I said this to AP, you're not going to know that until September. There's nothing that you're going to see Saturday at the Greenbrier. There's nothing that we're going to see. Now, you might get a little clue in those joint practices against Philly, maybe a little clue if it's back. But really, the bright lights big city of Cincinnati week 1, that until then, until the end of September into October. So any other, to your point and the point I made to AP yesterday, all the rest of this stuff, it is known, man.
And by the way, I'm not talking about just us. There are many teams in the AFC that could be great this year and not make the playoffs. This is going to be an absolute 4+ month slugfest where every game matters, every outcome matters. When you have opportunities to win games, you cannot let them slip away, because every game is going to matter, and there are going to be a lot of teams around 9, 10, 11 wins in this conference, and you're going to have to be on the right side of that group to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, there's no margin.
Everybody's good.
They're all good.
Our division is very good.
Division's loaded. It's all gotten stronger too.
Yes.
And who knows? There could be other things that happen. I keep pointing to, not that this would be in some place it'd be a difference maker, but even like if there's an injury to Stafford come to the AFC, like there's other stuff out there in the division. But this conference, as good as it was, added Aaron Rodgers to the Jets.
And
Like,
you could also added Deshaun Watson to the Browns. Like if
sure.
Deshaun is back with a full season, everything catered to him, playing at the level he was, you just added into a conference that already featured, Josh Allen, Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Russell Wilson. You just added in Lamar Jackson. You just added in 2 more absolute top 5 quarterbacks in the league.
You added in 2. Yeah, you're exactly right. You just
Which
put
puts you
2
at
more
8
in.
of them.
Yeah. So if you were ranking quarterbacks in
And not
the
to mention how Tua played. I mean,
I don't know if it's in today's show, but ESPN did the top 10
Yeah.
quarterback things, and it was only Hurts and Prescott, and then they had Stafford 10. But it was Hurts and Prescott were the only NFC guys in the top 10.
Yeah.
All the rest are AFC. So that's the reality of it. And so I think that's why. And one thing, like I told the story yesterday. Like my neighbor was like, "So same old Browns? Are we better?" And it's like, there's nothing I can say to make you understand the talent, right? Like
We're loaded.
it's the most talented
so
team
I was
we've
saying
had.
last night, I said, look, this team is loaded.
It's the best team they've had, most talented team they've had here since the 60s. I mean, that's just the
By a
reality
mar-
of it. It's
It's
just
very
is.
good. Yep.
There were some teams in the late 80s that were obviously very, very good, but they were very, very good in an AFC world. Like the NFC was on a totally different level in the late 80s. And
Yes.
this is the best of the best. I think you got to go back total team talent to like the 60s. And so like, but none of it matters if that one component isn't great. And even that might not be enough because the AFC is what the AFC is. And that's the reality of it. The one thing that is going to be, I get a lot of pushback on, every time I get pushback on Elijah Moore. Oh, all you guys love Elijah Moore. Look, I understand that there has not been the production in the NFL that people assumed he would have coming out of Ole Miss. But all I can tell you is what we see with our own eyes, and he's pretty electric. That doesn't mean that he's going to be, I don't know if
Yes,
he'll
and
be
this was a
Percy
guy
Harvin.
that dominated the
Yes,
SEC.
who was a great player at Ole Miss. Great.
Yeah.
That's been in a lot of weird positions.
He's got to prove it too. I
He
mean,
does.
yes.
Those components. But I also would say for Browns fans, like it's okay to be excited about this stuff.
Yes.
You don't have to think that the football is always going to be pulled out from under you before you kick Charlie Brown style.
Correct.
If that happens, then you deal with it. But the reality of this roster is it's elite. The quarterback that we saw slinging around all of May is the guy who was playing for the Texans 2 years ago.
Yep.
Who was a leading passer in the NFL. And Elijah Moore's pretty electric and incredibly versatile. And I don't know, I felt like you might have been, were you off the show that we had Stefanski on at the
that
Undisclosed?
was at the Undisclosed. Yes, I was.
Yeah. So I did the Harvin question to him. I
Yeah.
asked him about that specifically. And
He smiled.
yeah, he's not going to give you but
Much.
but if you paid attention to the scores, you could see that there was a little bit of juice to that. So that's the spot you're in. But I think you're exactly right. And I think that's why it's hard. That's why this is going to be a long camp because we're going to be paying it in terms
We're
of
waiting.
we're waiting.
This isn't – look, I don't know if we're zoomed in here. I don't know if we're on the solo right now. But all of you who have been with me on this program from its inception have known that for a lot of that time, I was trying to sell you on this roster, sell you on hope.
Sure.
There's no need to sell you on the roster. There's no need to sell you on hope. This is going to be, simply put, a season that is solely about results. This is not a season of moral victories. This is a season about a beautifully constructed roster with a very good coaching staff on both sides of the ball, delivering in a binary world
Yep.
the wins on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays whenever they have to play. That's what this season's going to be about. This is like what it's, we haven't done it yet, so it wouldn't be like this is what it is like in some other cities where they have done it, year after year, and then they're going the offseason. Okay, this. We addressed all the major needs. I can't tell you how many national shows I've been on when that's the first thing they say, that they've addressed the roster. It looks great. This feels like a fully complete team. We love the Jim Schwartz move. Love Bubba Ventrone. Stefanski's an offensive genius. This team is going to be based solely on outcomes. This isn't, like I said, the roster is complete. Knock on wood, we stay healthy and we can take that roster into week one and then hopefully throughout the season. But this is a championship caliber roster. And the hard part is the Baltimore Ravens feel that way. The Cincinnati Bengals feel that way. I'll tell you what, the Steelers feel that way. I've been around plenty of Steelers fans lately. They absolutely feel that way. They're all aboard the Kenny Pickett hype train. They loved him since he was at Pitt.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's at Pittsburgh. The skill position talent's good. The defense is good. You know the Chiefs feel that way. You know the Chargers feel that way. You know the Broncos now with Sean Payton. Everything I've heard out of Denver is that they think they are going to be
They're going.
a real team of consequence. So there's 7. Then you got all three of the 4 in the AFC East. There's 10. The Patriots, though, probably still believe that
I think they're probably a playoff team, I bet.
they probably believe that.
Yeah.
So that's 12, and that leaves you 1, which is 13, the Jags in the South. But I would guess the Titans with Tannehill and Derrick Henry and now DeAndre Hopkins.
Few things
and
go our way.
Vrabel,
Why can't we win the division?
be in the playoffs?
Yeah.
So maybe there's 14 teams in the AFC that think they're going to the playoffs. That's discounting basically the Texans, Colts, and the Raiders, I guess. That's 13. But if
Right, but even that with Garoppolo, if he could be healthy, there's that part of it there with the Raiders.
yeah,
Everybody else is loaded. We have a white helmet.
and it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Long before I ever was involved or had anything to do with doing this lovely show with you,
Yep.
I had always theorized that a white hat would be the best option for the Browns. I understand that's blasphemous for a lot of people.
It's the original.
And people want
It's not blasphemous.
people like that orange hat. But I'm always quick to point out they're not the oranges, they're the Browns. And I love the orange hat. I like all of it. But I believe this to be the best possible look for the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion.
Yes.
Now, some of that comes from my collegiate, where that's where a lot of my oats were sowed, and Texas is all white is spectacular. Tennessee in all white to head to toe looks so great. Go ahead.
Would you want to see us in a white over a brown top, or do you just like the white
I think
when
it
it's
would
all
look
white?
great. I mean, I go next level. I'm biased. I would prefer the white helmet always.
Period.
Like I think it would look great over brown. I think it would look great in every
Me too. I
incarnation.
wouldn't mind
I
the
think it
orange.
would be
Yeah.
awesome. But I also understand the orange has been the orange for a very, very long time, and it's
1952.
a very iconic look. So
So 70.
I understand you're not going to want to mess with that. This thing looks great. You and I, and JW is going to join us in a few minutes. You and I were doing a show when we unveiled the shadow uniform. You remember that? I know you're nodding your head because you do.
Yeah.
And Wood was with us, and we were over at the stadium, and we go, white.
Yeah. Would look
And
crispy.
it looks the way that you thought it would
Yeah,
look.
and Chief looks spectacular in
Awesome.
it. The players love it. Yeah, it's going to be good. You think about going in to Pittsburgh,
Oh.
week 2, Monday Night Football. They're in black. We're in white.
It's perfect.
It's going to be pretty awesome.
And they did a nice job of modernizing the original.
Yes.
So the original is all white, has nothing on it, and for a certain time it doesn't even have a face mask. That was added later. Originally it was just the white lids without the face mask. But they did a nice job. The stripe looks good on it, and it all works.
It fits the uniform.
Oh my
Very
gosh,
well.
it looks gorgeous on the uniform. I love it. I think it's absolutely sensational.
And I was curious about the brown face mask. Typically not the biggest fan, and I think at some point we might see a face mask make its return on a more permanent basis. But I thought that it actually worked. It made the white pop more and then tied into the numbers really well. So I was very pleased.
I would have been
how it
curious
looks
what
together.
a gray would have looked like on it, but then that would have had much more of a throwback
Yep.
feel to it, where this feels like a modernization of an original.
original.
And I think the brown works well with it. I think it looks amazing. I think it's so clean. It's beautiful. Absolutely
Well,
beautiful.
you're going to get, if you think about the 2-3 games, Steelers will be in all black. We will be in the white. I bet the Jets might go all black with their all blacks against our all whites on
They
Thursday
could.
Night
I
Football.
forgot they have all black too, yeah.
And then the Niners, which means they will be in their classic Joes, although they could also. I don't know if their color rush is still in
wear
there.
the classic
but I hope they
Joe.
do, because I think that would be a beautiful uniform game.
The red
gold
over
helmet,
gold.
red over the gold.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. It looks really great.
Yes.
And, and it's
And it's fun. Look, this is a fun thing right now.
beautiful.
It gets you a little juice. Look at that, by the way. What do you think about that?
I just noticed we have a new logo here
yeah. This
with
is.
the striping.
I don't know if you know. This is Cleveland Browns Daily 2.0. I don't know if you are aware of that yet.
I'm unaware.
Well, now you are.
It feels like it's more like 3.0, right?
In reality,
Or is it like
it would
4?
be like your arrival would have been 4.0. This would be now another iteration with you and I would be 5.0.
Well, how would there be in it? You and I are still here
No, it's
now.
a whole change. It's a whole change.
for now.
Stop it. Not even listening to you.
Will this be the longest run? As we're entering our 6th season?
Yeah, we are. This is
the longest incarnation of
Yes.
this program.
Yeah.
Is the way that we're doing
Because it was Vic by himself.
Yeah.
Then it was Vic and I, 13, and then just into 14. And then he was out.
So Vic was just 12?
I think 12 it started
Okay.
by himself. I came in 13, me and Vic, and then his last game was week 2 of 14, which
Okay.
used to be the old mural there that's not there anymore.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then Wilhelm,
15 through 18.
15 through 18. Well, most of 14, and then
then
15, 16, 17, 18.
Yep.
And
And
then
then-
you and I.
And then us now.
Yeah.
Cruising.
No, your first one was 18.
Oh, yeah. No. That's right. Yeah.
So 15
15 through 20. We're going on to
So
23.
he was most of 14, 15, 16, 17.
17.
So 3, almost 4. And then you've been 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is our 6th season.
6th season. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're cruising. He's safe.
Can't
He's
walk
safe.
away from that.
We'll see. I love it. Though. I love the kid.
Let me tell
I
you
love it.
this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw something out there.
I got
If
a pen. I'm
Frank
writing it down.
Severo can be as committed to portraying Enzo or as Enzo, whatever he's doing.
What in the hell is he
I
doing?
don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Z sends me these texts like right before I do what I do in the
when
morning.
if I see one in the morning,
And
always.
I constantly get it, and I look at it, and I still don't have the gram. So I look at it, and I look at it. I just don't know what he's going for. I don't know. Hey, Giza Deech. I don't know. Get back to that. Hey, it's me,
More
Frank
fun.
Severo. Goodfellas. Hey,
Yeah,
I'll
like-
be at the Hoboken. Here, do
no.
that stuff. I don't
Now
know
it's
what the
him
hell he's doing with
as
Enzo.
Enzo, and then he just like stares at the camera with a green
breathes
screen and
heavily.
a breeze, and
Strange.
it's very strange. But my point is, if he can remain
Yeah.
steadfast in his commitment to
Sure.
that, so can you remain steadfast in your commitment to this program.
Yeah, my commitment to you is unwavering.
That was a good non-answer.
It's the truth,
I agree with
and
that.
you know it to be true.
I do know it to be true.
8 teams have rookies report for camp today: Bills, Chargers, Chiefs, Dolphins, Falcons, 49ers, Giants, Raiders,
How?
and Saints. I have no idea how. None of those teams are in
Are the Jets or us?
or the Hall of Fame game.
That's right, because that's us
Yeah.
and the Jets.
Hey,
What does this mean? I don't get
I
it.
don't understand. Do you think? I wonder if are all these teams ones that like bailed on the last week of minicamp, and so this is their starting earlier?
I don't know. I'm confused.
I don't understand that. I don't know how that's done.
It vexes me.
Summer cocktail. What do you got on that? Did you see that on the invite for Hoff?
Summer cocktail
Yep.
attire.
That's right.
Yeah, I felt like that meant
Because
like,
Gibby goes, I think I can wear this, and he was in a polo and cargo shorts, and I said, I don't think you
No.
can wear that.
no, it probably.
I think it's
means-
like Gatsby light.
yeah,
is
I was
what I'm
gonna
thinking.
do like a tan suit, probably with no tie.
That's what I think. I think it's. I don't know that you have to wear. I think you could wear a loafer,
Sure,
but not a sneaker.
you could probably wear a sneaker today.
Well, and then today's age, you probably could wear a sneaker, one of those sneaker.
yeah, but you
hybrid
either need to
things.
be a nice.
I think you got to
like,
be in a jacket.
a jacket, or like you could wear Lulu pants with a blazer.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Or a little tan suit, or a light colored suit. Or
Yeah.
a pastel-y suit,
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
or a seersucker.
We have also not discussed since, as is appropriate.
You're talking. This is for
That's right.
Saturday, the party.
The
Yeah, I've been to one of those parties. Yeah, you're
we have it right.
cargo shorts and a polo.
That
You're
ain't
probably
it.
not getting in.
No, that's not how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Stood right there. All right. The other thing. So the Hoff is hitting cleanup as it. Well, he's
of course.
he's the headliner
Yeah.
in a pretty loaded class. I mean, it's a good class. Headliner of 9.
Yeah, he's the main event.
When does Hoff take the stage? Is that a 3:20?
I hope not that late, but I think
I
it's,
think it's
I
gonna
think it's
be.
after 2:30.
Because you're gonna have to be there by 11:30ish, probably. Right?
Yeah.
We start at noon.
Yeah.
That's a 3. I think I'm gonna put the over under 3:07.
That's what I'm saying. Your plan of their leaving and coming back is going to be, to me, very quick.
I have to do it. I can't be. I'm not going to be there on the field in a suit, and then wear that suit to a party. Like my hunch is this whole thing's done at 4, so then you got 3 hours to burn.
Yeah, but I think there's like pre-party. I think like there isn't a dead period. It's festivities.
But, well, okay.
We'll have to.
Yeah,
We'll get the
we gotta
full
coordinate.
itinerary. We'll get the
You
Hoff
need
on the
full-
phone.
Yeah, we need the full
We'll get
itinerary.
the Hoff on
this.
the phone.
Can
We'll
you
get a
imagine
full-
the Hoff taking our calls, like all the things he has going on? I was texting with him this weekend. I'm thinking, like, can you imagine how many texts he's getting?
He's been
2 weeks out,
Totally
but he responds
responsive.
right away.
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
ready. I'm like,
Yeah,
what
he's
the
a
best
Hoff.
guy ever?
Yeah.
Did you see him get the jacket?
He's a legend. Of course, I'm the jacket.
The idea, the Hoff opens it on top of his garbage cans.
Because that's the
So
Hoff.
great.
That's why
That's
it's
the Hoff.
him. That's why. That's
It's
why.
the best.
That's why he's the Hoff.
All right, very good. Lots to get to. Our owner, Executive Vice President J.W. Johnson, will join us next on the white uniforms. We're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. With Z and J.W. Johnson. So let's go ahead and get to that right now, Nick.
Browns Daily brought to you by Ballybet.
You're down.
Go on the Twisted Tea hotline and bring in one of the great luminaries and friends of the program, the great J.W. Johnson. J.W., great to be with you here today. A lot of excitement. We're less than a week away from heading to the Greenbrier. We'll talk about that for a second. But today the announcement was made. The Browns going back to their roots, and they will be wearing white helmets 3 times this season. The whiteout as a part of the collaboration with Dude Wipes. How did these white helmets come about? And boy, do they look clean.
Well, thanks for having me, and great to be with you as usual. Yeah, really exciting day, I think, for our fans, and I think even seeing a lot of reaction from our players in regards to the new alternate uniform. So, yeah, we're just super excited about it. Obviously, with the NFL last year releasing or enabling teams to have another alternate shell of the helmet, we felt like we had an opportunity to do something that brought us back to our roots. You know, obviously we wore white helmets for the first 6 years of our existence, and then obviously we switched to orange shells, I think, in 1951. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and our fans gave us a lot of feedback, and I think we also want to, try to do as much as we can with our fans and listen to them, and provide cool things for them, like when it comes to uniforms. So, big fan collaboration as well as our internal team on this.
Yeah, and they look great, and so the Browns will be wearing them for 3 games, 1 away, 2 at home. The away Monday night football against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Week 6 against the Niners here, and then Week 17 Thursday night football against the Jets, and one that we all think will be a very big game for both of those teams. How did we decide kind of which games? And man, I think it's going to be pretty cool to see the black of the Pittsburgh Steelers against the whiteout of the Cleveland Browns on Monday night football Week 2.
Yeah, obviously a big one Monday night right out of the gate, Week 2, and I think wearing our throwbacks against one of our, rivals in Pittsburgh, I think it'll look great. And, obviously we like to wear brown uniforms at home, but, obviously having these throwbacks, we want to at least try to incorporate 2 home games this year so our home fans can enjoy them. And, working with our friends at Dude Wipes, and they like the Niners game, which we did too. And then, obviously, finishing up the season, at home against the Jets in prime time, you couldn't have thought of another better way to do it. So, a lot of fun, excited for those 3 games and for our fans and all the hype around them. So it'll be cool to see them in action this year.
It's going to be awesome. And how was kind of the decision made to go with those, pair those with those classics, get that classic look back, keep the brown face masks on them, because and the striping, there were a lot of little details that went into this. How did you guys kind of land on what that final look is? And when you see it modeled by David Njoku, which you can see on the Browns Twitter account at Browns, and really all over Browns social media and the Chiefs social media, he looks awesome. I mean, it looks so good.
Yeah, very clean. Obviously, I think if you go back and there's some images, from the uniforms that we had in 1946 and forward, obviously with the shadow box letters and everything and the numbers that we have currently, it just matched up perfectly. And, obviously also due to some league rules, we weren't just in a position to be able to introduce another jersey. So we thought, like, if we're going to do an alternate, let's see what we can do. And per league rules, we paired it up with the alternate jersey from 1946. And that's how we just kind of went about it. And, after looking at it in multiple combinations, we just felt that was the best look and feel. And they feel really clean and sharp. And like I said, I can't wait to see them in action. I'm fired up.
Yeah, me too. Look good, play good. They say that all the time, especially the players. They love that. All right, I got to ask Jimmy Mack, Oscar-worthy performance. What did you think of what he did in that teaser? I mean, incredible. Just the emotion, the passion that he portrayed.
Jimmy is now forever going to be doing every piece of content that we need to do for the Browns. He did a great job. I think took a lot of great direction, had a lot of fun with it, and always great to showcase those guys and the men and women in that equipment room that are behind the scenes. They do a lot of hard work that no one ever realizes. So it was fun to get Jimmy and the team to get involved with that. But he's a stud as usual.
Absolutely. All right, you mentioned the excitement. Obviously, we're excited to see this team play in these white uniforms, the whiteout, and part of that partnership there with Dude Wipes. But we're just excited to see this team, period, in general. Saturday, we're, 4 days away from boarding a plane and heading to the Greenbrier to start training camp this Saturday, July the 22nd. How excited are you and just kind of everybody you're talking to in this organization top down? How excited are you guys to get this camp going and get this season finally underway?
Yeah, hard to believe that it's already here, and obviously then we've got the Hall of Fame game the following week after that, and celebrating Joe Thomas, and then next it'll be get here quickly. But yeah, we're as a family and an organization, I think everybody is excited about the season. We're excited about every season, and I think obviously with some of the additions that we've made, whether it's the draft or free agency and guys that we've had over the last couple of years, and seeing them to continue to develop. And getting Deshaun a full season with us and limiting the distractions. I think we're all excited about it. Now we just got to go out there and put in the work, and hopefully we get some bounces go our way and some good things happen, and we stay off the injury train. So a lot of things have to happen, but we're really excited to get everybody going again and start the football season, and really can't wait. So it'll be exciting to say the least.
What are you looking for from this kind of 8-day, I would call it intensive bonding, right, and work away from everything for this football team and for this, the football organization as a whole?
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I mean, I think this is a testament to Kevin wanting to try to do something a little different. We're always in Berea. We've got a great facility. We put a lot of time and money into the building to provide the guys everything that they need to be successful. But he came to us and said, listen, I think this would be a nice way to do some more team bonding. Since COVID, we really hadn't had a chance to do it. And then, in 21, it was still somewhat limited. So I think getting away from the facility that we're in at, all the time and doing something different and coming up with fun activities, I think it's just a great way for the guys to continue to get to know each other, be a real team, and grow through the process. So I think it'll be a blast. I think we're going to get a lot of great work in, but I think we're also going to have a lot of fun in between.
I think we are too. It should be a very exciting thing. It's an exciting time. This is a great little teaser as a way to kind of get that energy up, get people excited as we start into really the start of the 2023 Cleveland Browns season. JW, thank you so much. I know the fans thank you. All the things you kind of have done and put together listening to them. We saw the white face mask last year. Maybe we'll see them again. I don't know. We can't say. But now we got these beautiful white helmets to go with those throwback unis. So very exciting. I'm sure the fans are going to be pumped about all that.
Well, we want to thank the fans personally. I do, obviously, for their support. Obviously, through all the things that we've been through as a football team. And like I said, our fans are undefeated, and look forward to seeing them being loud and proud throughout training camp and obviously during the preseason, the regular season. But also want to thank them for all their participation. We started off last year with coming up with the new Fighting Brownie and launching him on the 50. And then obviously we're really excited about our new dog face logo, which, we had great fan interaction and had someone design that has a place in their heart for the Browns. So great participation there. And then obviously hearing the folks about the white helmet, the alternate. So obviously going to keep listening to them. Like you said, pay attention to the scores. We might have more to come.
Oh, baby.
So more things to get excited about, whether that's this year or next year. Just have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned. The great J.W. Johnson, Cleveland Browns partner with us, the luminary of luminaries and a great friend to CBD and really everybody in Browns Nation. Again, it is the Whiteout. It's brought to you by
30-30.
Tube Wipes. It'll be week 2 at Pittsburgh, week 6 at home, San Francisco, week 17 at home against the Jets, and that week 2 at Pittsburgh. That is Monday Night Football. That is going to be just awesome. Yeah. JW, thanks for the time. We'll see you at the Greenbrier and get this thing going.
Thanks, pal. See you this weekend.
All right, J.W. Johnson brought to you by the Twisted Tea Hotline.
This was
Keep it twisted.
Nick, so we might need a
Cleveland will be back with more.
this.
Cleveland
All right.
Browns Daily brought to you by Ballybet, a sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio right here on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Say big on beautifying and protecting
All right, you're down.
summer with pros at Perfect
Part of one of the most passionate fan bases of the NFL. Join the Brown season ticket member wait list today. Best chance securing tickets for all home games and future seasons. Don't miss out. Go to clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050 to reserve your spot. Today we've been taking a look. Our best guest in your stead yesterday. I did tight ends. I got 7 out of 10. So it wasn't bad. Respectable.
Very good.
7 out of 10. But they did not have the Chief on there. And they had – who was the one that was a great dispute? Was it Waller? There was somebody that was on there.
Pitts, Atlanta.
It was
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts was number 8.
Yeah, Pitts.
I
And
wonder
they didn't
if
have
I could.
Chief.
I feel like I could that one. I feel like I could do all right on that one.
I missed Chief, Everett.
Dawson Knox.
Oh, yeah, I missed. I'm
You had
talking about
Dawson
guys
Knox
I
on
had
it.
on my 10. I did
Oh,
not
yeah.
have
He had
Dawson
7
Knox.
out of 10. He had
I
a
had
good
7 out of
showing.
10.
Dawson
I
Knox
missed-
was in the top 10.
He was. And so I had Everett wrong. I had Chief wrong.
You had Gerald
and I
Everett.
had. Yeah, I had Everett. I'm trying to think who the other one was.
Is
Doesn't
it a
matter.
guy from the Chargers?
That was Everett. There was another guy. There was somebody else I got. It doesn't matter. All right, we're doing tackles. Doing tackles today, Dr. Z. Top 10 tackles.
All right, I'm going to try on this.
Yep.
Tight ends, I feel like.
You had a better.
That's
see,
fantasy. Yeah,
in my
this one was
fantasy,
hard
we
for
don't have
me.
to have tight ends,
Yeah.
so I don't pay as close. But
mean,
still, I
like,
was happy with 7 out of 10.
Kittle,
I was
Andrews,
pleased. I had
Kelsey,
1 through
Goddard.
4 in order.
Kittle, Andrews, Kelsey, Goddard, Ingram, and Waller are like locks. So
Yes.
That would have been 6 locks.
Yeah.
You said Pitts.
Yeah.
7.
Knox, Knox too.
I can't believe that. I would never
Yeah.
guess
And
that.
yeah. So.
Dawson Knox. All right. Anyway. All right. Tackles.
Yep.
This I'd be happy if I can get to 5 or 6. Look at Scarlett. There he is.
He was in here yesterday. What's he got? Where's he carrying his kicks?
Oh, he's got, some
He's got a
nice-
real saunter going
yeah,
today.
real saunter. All right. I'm going to do my best here. I'm not optimistic.
Yep.
Trent Williams.
He's number 1.
Laramie Tunsil.
He's 2.
Tyron Smith.
Tyron Smith is not on the list.
Okay.
Tyron Smith is a honorable mention.
Okay. Orlando Brown Jr.
Orlando Brown. I'm going to tell you what, like, for whatever reason, this is a slow loading
page.
thing. Yeah. Orlando Brown Jr. not on the list.
What?
Not on the list.
That's stunning to me. Is he not even honorable mention? I thought that was a lock city.
He is others receiving votes.
Wow.
Yep. So you're 2 for 4.
Teron Armstead.
Armstead is not on
That's
the
it.
list.
I'm out. 3 strikes, I'm out. Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson is on the list. He's 4.
Okay. Tristan Wirfs.
He's on the list. He's 3.
Okay. Panay Sewell.
Panay Sewell is on the list. He is 6.
All right, so I'm still okay.
You still get 70%.
So what do I have so far? I've got 1, 2,
You've
3,
missed 3.
4, 5, and I've missed 3.
Yeah.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Deion Dawkins.
Deion Dawkins is not on the list.
Jeez Louise.
You got 1 more.
Christian Darrisaw.
9th on the list.
Okay. Conklin.
Not.
Not. All right, that's it. I'm out of guesses.
All right. So 5th on the list was Jordan Mailata.
Oh, the big tackle from
For
formerly of
Phillies?
the Eagles.
Yeah, so they have the Philly tackles at
Yep.
4 and 5 on the list. You mentioned Sewell. Andrew Thomas was 7 of the Giants.
That's what I forgot.
He's probably criminal. That's probably too low for him
Yep.
based on what he was last year.
Yep.
Rashawn Slater.
That's the
8.
rookie. Is that the Chiefs guy?
No,
Or
he's
he's the-
Chargers. Chargers.
I mean, the Chargers guy. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chargers
And
guy.
then
Darrisaw is Vikings.
yeah.
Okay.
Colton Miller of the Raiders is 10.
That one I would not have gotten ever.
So that was that list. The honorable
Tough.
mentions are Ryan Remchek with the Saints,
Yep.
Taron Armstead, Bakhtiari, Brian O'Neill, Tyron Smith, and then the others receiving votes were Juwan Taylor, Orlando Brown, Jake Matthews, Deion Dawkins, Taylor Decker, and Taylor Moton of Carolina.
Okay.
So there you go.
There it is.
All right, coming up next, the CEO of Dude Wipes.
Yeah.
You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back to the Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. We now head out on the Twisted Tea Hotline, brought to you by Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea, official sponsor of your Cleveland Browns. Keep it twisted, Cleveland. He is the CEO of Dude Wipes. He is Ryan Megan, and he joins us. This was fun, man. How did this thing come about? You guys, of course, the official sponsor. You get the viral video yesterday, and then the unveiling today. How did this partnership come to be?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. We're super excited about it. So, basically, shout out to the Browns upper management and ownership, specifically Eric Klaus, the CCO, who approached our sports agency and said, "Listen, you guys are a challenger brand, and we want to be a challenger brand as well. We think this could be a lot of fun." So these talks started probably end of last year, and kind of progressed, and Dude Wipes and the Browns, the application of our product plus the Browns, you can't think of anything better. So we're super excited. We love having fun. The Browns are trying to be a challenger brand. They're obviously, had a decent year last year and looking to have an even better year this year. So we're here to help clean things up and, hope everything goes well. But we're super excited.
Yeah, and I think our fans are very excited, too. The Whiteout 3 games at Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. That's going to look spectacular. The Niners and then the Jets. How excited are you kind of have those 3 games and know that it's big rivalry with the Steelers, the Niners, who are a perennial power, and then a primetime game with the Jets?
No, totally. Doesn't get any bigger than primetime football. And then we'll come back to the Niners game at home where – we'll have a little bit more presence on site with some sampling. We've also got other assets involved. We're going to be sponsoring every time the Browns go for 2. Any attempt, we're going to be donating 2,000 wipes to our partner Crohn's and Colitis. And for any successful attempt, we will be donating $2,000 to Crohn's and Colitis. So there's a nice charity element to go with this too, as well as having a little fun with the funds. But yeah, 3 exciting games, and couldn't be more excited for the season to start here in just about 6-8 weeks or so.
Yeah, so you've got the Going for 2 promotion. You just talked about that, the Whiteout series, and then there'll be some other things for fans this season. Where can people check out, and get more information or to place an order to get some Dude Wipes for themselves?
Yeah, we're nationwide, so we're in every Walmart, Target, Kroger, and even Meijer. We're going to be doing a fun sweepstakes with Meijer to give away some front row seats to a couple games this season. So keep an eye out on that. We're still working out the details. And then also Amazon, which is obviously easy for everybody. So really fun to be a part of the NFL. And like I said, couldn't be more perfect match made in heaven than Dude Wipes and the Browns.
Ryan, can I just ask you about the product for a second? Because when I had kids, my oldest is 11 now, and we have 3 boys. And when we had him, I'm like, and immediately I go to change the diaper. I'm like, this is better. Why have I not been doing this whole time? Do you have a similar story? The genesis for you? How did this happen? Because now it's part of the life. It's part of my life, man.
No, for sure. And thanks for bringing that up. So yeah, we started the company out of Lakeview, just down the street from Wrigley Field, me and my 2 partners, and we were using baby wipes, bulk packs of baby wipes from Sam's Club, and we were just sawing through these things. And we always joke about, on late nights of Miller Lights and burritos here in Chicago, we would, we all had kind of the entrepreneurial spirit and talked about starting a company together. So finally we had the aha moment of what if it's these wipes? We did a little research and saw there was only brands out there for women and babies. So we wanted to bring something funner, bigger, and flushable for dudes and kind of go on this crusade to enlighten, kind of Dude Nation, as we call it, to this new bathroom routine, which, leaves you cleaner and fresher and feeling better. And that's where we started in, 2012-ish. 2015, we got our first nationwide deal, and now we're in 20,000 stores nationwide. We're the number 2 brand in the country behind Cottonelle and nipping at their heels, and we just want to keep growing this thing. So the Browns, we thought, was another stepping stone to get the brand out there.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a great
did you
story,
think?
man.
Yeah, did you ever think over those burritos and Miller Lights that you'd be partnering with an NFL team and a part of something as big as this now with your Whiteout series?
We've been trying for years. You'll see us kind of troll Taco Bell and Chipotle online, but
Yeah.
they always kind of stay away. So again, big shout out to the Browns for taking the leap and just trying to have fun. And people see that authenticity, and that's what the brand has been built on, is authenticity. And people at the end of the day, whether they want to admit it or not, within their group of friends or whatnot, everybody loves a little bathroom humor. So it's amazing to be where we're at now, but we always had that drive, and couldn't be happier and more grateful to be where we're at today. So this will just take us to the next step.
Well, this has been great, man. Thank you so much for your time, and look forward to the sponsorship and the partnership going forward. Thanks for your time today, bud.
Thanks, guys, so much. Thanks so much. We'll see you soon.
All right, that's Ryan Megan. He's the CEO of Dude Wipes. Coming up next, we hit the positional previews. We're on the defensive line, the defensive tackle position. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, for a team of dedicated lawyers, dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We'll get to the positional previews in just a second. Gibbe here with me in studio
Hi.
now. How are you, sir? Let me see if
you
you're
know.
on. Is he on?
Am I on? Is the knob turned all the way up? Oh,
Now you
there's a
are.
little-
Now
there's
you're
a
good.
little squeak there.
It was a little low. Now you're good. Now you're good. You're safe,
All right, we're
pal.
learning on the fly here.
That's
There's
all right.
only one way for people on the job experience.
Do you know that there are two? They're not endorsers, so I wouldn't. Otherwise, I would say their names. There are two businesses that exact thought led to kind of like a created business, which is those teach to swim kids stuff. Like that didn't exist when I was a kid.
Paying for my
And now
grandson currently.
Yeah, they throw them in there,
Yep.
and little Tommy's got to sort it out and figure
Yeah.
out how to swim.
Get on your back. Start floating.
Yeah, that's it. Now I feel like my wife always laughed at me. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I taught myself how to swim. I don't remember a swim lesson.
I had swim lessons.
Yeah.
I had swim lessons like all the way to the top.
Did
And,
you
like,
really?
And yet, the biggest challenge I had from a swim lesson standpoint, I was terrified to go off the diving board. Like, I got to, like, the highest level that you could from a swim, and, like,
Even the short dive?
it was the short dive, and I was terrified. Like, my parents were never one to bribe their children to do things. My parents offered me Reebok pumps, every kind of shoe under the planet, if you can just take a jump off, because otherwise you're going to fail this, and you're going to have to go back. It was at the again. I can't go any higher from a lessons standpoint. Like
You've
I was
done all
able
that
to
could
tread
be
water
done.
for 5 minutes, and I was able to like do all this other stuff. And then I jumped off the board, and I'm like, "Yep, now I'm hooked." Now they're throwing me footballs, and I'm jumping off the Olympic high dive, trying to catch footballs.
You want to know who never had any fear of jumping off of anything into a pool?
Oh my God!
Isn't that amazing? What a human.
What a great picture.
Isn't that good?
That's a good camera.
Like
on that
in
phone.
flight?
Yeah.
He requested that. Dad, take a picture of me while I do this. Punk. Absolute punk.
Some are
Yeah.
just treating him like a win.
It's
Or
a
he's
steady diet of green lights. And it's a boulevard of green lights for him. There's not a yellow anywhere. It's just green. And then if I even think of putting up a red,
Nope.
not
What-
sure
what- now,
exactly
what-
how to handle it.
What now? How does the missus react to this? Because she's got to be.
We
around
both
the ball.
realize that that there needs to be that we're in right now we're in what I like to refer to as a corrective state. So we're correcting what has been a month's worth of green lights.
Well, and I feel like things are going to get a little worse here as we get into August and the school comes back into play.
He thrives there. I mean, he'll thrive. He'll do fine. Like he won't.
Like
There's
like
no
the time
pushback there.
change or like getting back into routine. Look at this.
Of course, just steady. He can now we can't even see what's going on back there.
No, there's
It's all locked off. Can't see
there's
it.
a new conference room. I was told our department tried to book that conference room, and we were told, "Nice try."
I bet you were told no.
You are a little L. You are not a big L.
No, not
big
for
L's
you.
go in that conference room.
Not for you at all.
I'm like, but it's a Joe Thomas conference room.
The Hoff. Oh, I did sort out summer cocktail as well. So it is jacket, pants, button shirt, no tie necessary, no socks necessary. It's basically what I'm now referring to as Gatsby light.
The jacket's going to be a problem because I'm a sweater.
You need to get a
And
linen
if you think I'm a sweater, wait till you get a load of Yellowstone out there.
Yellowstone.
He's got special things he's got to do before we even go golfing.
He gets himself all to be all insulated.
Something. I don't know. And even then, I'm like, I don't know if that's working for you. He's a sweater, but so am I. So
Yeah.
I'm like,
Gonna be schwitzing.
well, we'll hope for a cool August night.
Yeah, that'll happen.
It'll be the hottest weekend of the year.
That's going to be 90 for
Yeah.
sure, which we haven't had yet.
No.
There's been a great deal of noise here. This is over the last 24 hours in regard to the running back position and the compensation for it. So I actually had this list. I saw this on. I wish I should give proper credit for the tweet that I saw it on. It's Ari Mirov on My Sports Update with this. In terms of this is what's happened at the running back position in the NFL this offseason. So this was from the veteran running backs. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones took pay cuts. We talked about Mixon yesterday. Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, all cut. So all of those guys were obviously first-round picks, high first-round picks. They've all since been cut. Zeke did get his money in the biggest possible way. Tagged but no deal, and this is why this is coming up, because Pollard did not get a deal done. Saquon Barkley didn't get a deal done. Josh Jacobs didn't get a deal done, and they all thought that they would. Barkley actually said he wanted to reset the market on the running back position. But all of that happened, no deals. Austin Eckler asked for a trade or a new deal. To this point, he's gotten none of that. And Kareem Hunt's been a free agent, obviously, the entire offseason. So that gets you an idea of where you are from a running back position. This was exacerbated by Matt Miller, who we've had on before, NFL draft scout, works for ESPN now. And he said that the NFL model now is draft a running back, tag a running back, draft another running back, cut the first running back is essentially part ways with the first running back.
Yeah, you're a one contract, rookie contract.
Yep, and if you get the second one, like Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry or Joe Mixon or Ezekiel Elliott, there's absolutely no chance that you're going to see another Ezekiel Elliott contract or another Todd Gurley contract. You'll never see those again. But even like the Nick Chubb or the Derrick Henry, which was shorter term, higher guaranteed money right away, even those contracts are incredibly scarce to find. I understand. I mean, I've seen McCaffrey, Nick Chubb retweeted Derrick Henry's tweet about this. We've seen this throughout the league. I understand the disappointment for running backs. I get it. It's reasonable. But also say this is just supply and demand.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if you are an NFL team and you're looking at the position, the tag number on it's around 10 is the tag number at running back, which is obviously one of the lowest in the league. But NFL teams would look at it and say, okay, we can have this guy going into his 8th season or 7th season, or we can draft a kid, and even if he's not 100% of him, if he's 80, 90%, it's cheaper, we'll go this way. And we'll spend our money at quarterback, receiver,
maybe we can develop
DN,
him into the 90%.
Corners, correct. And it's a little bit of groupthink. I don't know if it'll ever change, but that's where you are in the league, and we're going to be in this position here next year with Nick trying to figure out what that looks like.
I can appreciate what Saquon is trying to do in terms of getting fair compensation for his position and trying to be a trendsetter. I guess that's not probably the right word, but it is. He's trying to.
They get
change
pressured
the trend
by their agents, and by the NFLPA to every time It's the same reason I think why the Burrow contract hasn't been announced yet, because they know he can reset the market. His talent demands that they reset the market, but
that's what they try to do with Lamar.
Correct, but I don't know that he has. I don't think that's most important to him. So that's this real issue here is. You get pressure from your agent, you get pressure from the PA to reset the market, but is it in the case of Joe, is that what's wanted by him? And my hunch is no. So yeah, Barkley's being pressured because he's generational when he's healthy. Wants to reset it.
That's why, like, if you're Josh Jacobs, you could probably do this.
Yeah.
But like Saquon's coming off, he had a great year last year, taking nothing away from him, but he's been hurt prior to that.
Yeah.
So you're trying to reset the market. Frankly, you just need to be trying to get all the money you can make because you're another bad injury away from being done in the National Football League.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like where McCaffrey was, where he was hurt all the time, and then but he got paid before all of that happened. I don't the sense it's changing. I will say this too. I'm very curious if the wide receiver position will turn into this in 5 years, because much as there is a glut of talent at running back in the draft every year in and year out, there are so many receivers that are coming in NFL ready. When it comes time for a receiver at 28 to get another big contract, if team just says, you know what, we've seen that with Tyreek Hill, right? We saw it with DeAndre Hopkins, like,
Stephon
Diggs. Yeah, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
It's already happening. But I do wonder if the number will kind of come down a little bit at receiver through the years.
Yeah, well,
Could happen.
I mean, it truly depends on your class, the class coming out. Like the NFL, like this was the first year that how many wide receivers taken? 2 or 3?
I think there were 3 this year. It was Flowers, Smith,
it was,
and Jigba.
It was exceptionally
and
low.
Addison. Yeah.
Previous to the past couple of years. Like if that trend were to continue, then the value of those guys I think remains high. But if you start getting those classes where 7, 8, even 9 wide receivers go in the first round, those guys that sign those rookie deals, I mean, if you're not in the top 10 at your position, you're not getting what you want when you hit the market.
No, you're not. And that's kind of the reality of where you are with that position, where I think you are a little bit at the running back position. This is I saw this, Austin Eckler, and this is just also, too, where it is, and it speaks to the overabundance of importance put on the quarterback position. Eckler tweeted out, and this was the Matt Miller quote talking about how to handle running backs, and Eckler tweeted out, "This is the kind of trash that artificially delivered one of the most important positions in the game, devalued one of the most important positions in the game. Everyone knows it's tough to win without a top running back, yet they act like we're discardable widgets. I support any running back doing whatever it takes to get his bag." Now, I think Eckler could get his bag because he catches the ball out of the backfield
like McCaffrey.
all the time, like McCaffrey, a true dual threat. So someone on Twitter went the Super Bowl champions leading rusher year by year. So it's Isaiah Pacheco with the Chiefs last year, Sony Michel with the Rams, Ronald Jones, Damian Williams with the Chiefs, Sonny Michel with the Patriots that time, LeGarrette Blount, Ronnie Hillman, Shane Vereen. None of those are who's. You got to go back to to build a team around a run game and a defense. You're probably going to win a Super Bowl. It's probably Broncos.
Yeah.
And then a little bit probably Seahawks. They got lucky with Wilson being as good as he was. That was built around beast mode in that defense. So there's a couple of instances. But now it's so easy to pass. It's such a pass-friendly league that the position just isn't what it once was.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You can't score 35 points a game running the ball probably 50 times.
No. And that buttresses my point, I think, on where I think you're headed at receiver. The Chiefs won it without Tyreek Hill. They still had Kelsey. But everybody else, they plug and played because they have a supernova quarterback and they had Kelsey.
Yeah.
And that's what allows for it all to happen. All right, coming up next, we'll take a look at a positional preview on the defensive front at the defensive tackle room. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Z rejoins.
What's up?
Looks like you got a little zest, a little more zest than when you left. A little less of other things, maybe.
Yeah.
Good job.
I don't know. Is my color better?
It feels like I do see there's a buoyancy to your cheeks,
There was
which
not.
I did not see 20 minutes ago.
No, there's death.
So I think that's good.
All right, we're back.
Let me ask you
Moving on.
this.
Yeah.
Gibby and I were this was
I
the
heard.
running back conversation.
Yep.
You wanted to weigh in.
Yeah, I did. So I think if the salary cap were not an issue, if yes, better running it is, you would rather have a better running back than a not as good running back. But it is much more difficult to win consistently year over year in the NFL with a roster that is paying a running back top dollar. I would also add to that, unfortunately, the last 6 times the team really paid a big running back, Ezekiel Elliott was cut during that deal and remains unsigned. Christian McCaffrey was traded during that deal. Dalvin Cook has been cut before the conclusion of that deal. Todd Gurley was cut before the conclusion of his deal. Le'Veon Bell was cut during the duration of his deal. And Alvin Kamara potentially could be cut. He would be the other one. It's a difficult position to be able to pay and then have that kind of success you want. One, there is an abundance of supply. 2, it is unfortunately a decreasing asset. Running backs over time slow down as they get older because of the wear and tear on their bodies and the position. Do I wish, and I honestly think, I read this, I don't know who said this, but I think it's a very valid point. There could be a world, right? If you want running backs to be compensated, maybe the NFL decides that running back salaries count only half against the cap, or maybe they don't count against the cap at all if you want them to be compensated on the level of stars that they are. The reality is it is not good business for a team in the NFL to do that. The teams that do the best are the ones that seem to, you put those assets in other places that are not as declining of assets that directly impact more of the modern game. And then you stock up on second-round running backs, third-round running backs. Sometimes in a very special case, if you're fully ready-made, you take a first-round running back, you know, and just drop him in. Like Philly could have done that with Bijan Robinson, and it would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They didn't really have the other needs. And so then it's like, okay.
It's an embarrassment of riches.
An embarrassment of riches. It's a luxury. And so we can get a supreme talent on a contract that would be, because he's a rookie, less than it would be obviously on the open market. It's been going this way for a long time. I think they should get everything that they can get. When you're a running back, get everything you can get while you can get it. And I understand
all these
that.
guys, I feel that way about.
Yeah,
every position.
everybody in the NFL.
Everybody in
really.
the NFL. You got to get what you can get when you can get it.
But it's just kind of the reality of the situation, in the sense that there is a never-ending supply. Now, what could shift that would be if kids, high school, college, the most talented kids who you just play running back early on because you give them the ball and then they score, say, you know what? I'm playing receiver.
Yeah.
I'm not playing running back anymore.
I think that's happened already over the course of the last. I think Randy Moss started that trend, because kids now seeking out receiver. I mean, you think about the best college football players. It's been a while since a running back won the Heisman.
Yes. That's also part of the evolution of the game, though.
True, but if the best positional player coming out of the draft, it's Bijan Robinson's rare.
Yes.
That he was the best position player probably in
Yes.
college football last year in terms of his ceiling,
Yep.
not necessarily his production, but his ceiling. Like next year, it's Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a receiver.
Yeah, and it's been Jamar Chase.
It's been Jamar Chase. There's been a bunch of Pitts. I mean, there's been a ton of those guys that have been receiver
oriented.
has been what it's been. So I think that got to what I was getting to with Gibby at the end there in our conversation was, I do wonder if the receiver position, and it's already, there were several examples of Tyreek Hill, DeAndre Hopkins, of where, you know what, we're not going to pay you $27 million. We'll get a bunch of different guys to kind of make that all work and find that. There's certainly transcendent players that you're going to pay. Like, obviously, they'll pay Jamar Chase. But we saw that with Diggs as well, where there are certain guys that no, we're not going to do
And
it.
it's just not always that easy that you trade
Well, they're
Stephon
the
Diggs and
exact best, yeah.
draft Justin Jefferson, and this worked out splendidly. I mean, Treylon Burks, who I'm not ready to write off at all in Tennessee, but certainly did not make up for the
No.
A.J. Brown production, and that GM was fired right after A.J. Brown torched the Titans as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a tough thing. There's always a supply. The amount of talented receivers is certainly on the rise given the proliferation of, offenses spreading out, more 11 personnel in college. But I just think it's an unfortunate thing, and I think we here are so lucky to have Nick Chubb, but I think people need to be cognizant of the fact that it's unlikely Nick Chubb is a Brown for the rest of his career, just because
Sure.
that's a very difficult thing to do from a financial standpoint and try to have an organization once you've invested in a franchise quarterback. See, the difference
We were
is,
talking about Mixon yesterday.
yeah, he took a huge pay cut.
Joe Mixon, anytime I talked to anybody down there, they were like, obviously you're going to have to cut Mixon
Yeah.
at some point. And Mixon made the decision that I like this situation. I like playing here. This is the market. I'm sure he's
gonna make like
unhappy
4.5,
about it.
right?
Yeah, I'm sure he's unhappy about it. But that's what was most important to him at this point in his career, was that.
Yeah.
And so he's stuck for a lot less.
And I think what you'll see is shorter term deals with running backs, and teams that have not yet invested in a franchise quarterback are more apt to pay that running back. But that becomes the conundrum of, well, if you don't have the franchise quarterback, can you truly be a serious team in the NFL? And I look at the Titans, who I think got everything they could out of that organization. But at the end of the day, with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. When we did not have a franchise quarterback, we leaned heavily on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt
oh, yeah.
to be a competent football team. But now that you have that guy, there's a different style. We're going to have this year and perhaps next year where you've got it all, which is a wonderful thing. But then tough decisions are going to have to be made, and unfortunate decisions. It's just it is the way of the league. Saquon Barkley, I think, turned down a deal that had $22 million guaranteed, I read. So
Okay.
he's going to get 10 this year, which means he needs to get 12 next year to make that. And unfortunately, with that position, there's a likelihood he could get injured this year. Now, he would say it was probably worth more than 22 guaranteed, but the market is what the market is. And a guy like Christian Kirk can get 17 a year. You've gotten, I saw the skewed stat that says kickers make this and running backs make this. Well, the fact is, pretty much every team in the league has one or two running backs on rookie deals.
For sure. Yeah.
And the kickers that are still left in the league, very few are on rookie deals. Many of them are veterans. And then the ones who are really good are still getting paid, but not crazy relative to other positions. But compared to a running back, third-round running back on a
That's
rookie
right.
salary, or a fourth-round or even a fifth-round running back, like Chase Brown will be down in Cincinnati, that's a different thing. Look at our team. We're going to have, as it sits right now, we're going to have Nick Chubb getting compensated very well. Jerome Ford on the second year of a fifth-round rookie deal. Potentially Demetric Felton on the third year of a seventh-round rookie deal.
Right.
Or maybe you sign one guy at the veteran minimum. Other than that, it's Hassan Hall, who's an undrafted free agent on the first year of his deal. John Kelly would be kind of in that same boat of not making a ton of money. I mean, that's just the way it is. And what we've seen throughout the league is when you've got a good scheme and you've got, we'll call it a competent offensive line or run game, guys come in and are able to flourish. I mean, Jaylen Warren, carry for carry, was more efficient and effective than Najee Harris last year.
Yes.
And he was an undrafted free agent.
Yep.
Isaiah Pacheco was a seventh-round pick and was outperforming a first-round pick in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. It's difficult to explain what makes it work. Part of it is staying healthy. Part of it's the vision. All of that. Tony Pollard, I don't remember where they drafted Tony Pollard, but I can't recall if it was that high. And there's no way it was. And he's outplayed Zeke. I think he's like maybe a fourth-round pick. It's just, unfortunately, that's the league. And when you can find all these guys.
He played at Memphis.
Yeah. So where was he?
Fourth round.
Fourth round picked. Okay, so it's what I
Fourth
thought.
round in 2019.
Right. And he's outplayed Zeke carry for
Yeah.
carry since he has been there. That's why you're in this situation. And I think it goes back to, remember when Le'Veon Bell held out?
Yeah, of course.
And then
He
James
apologized for that over the weekend. for the to the Steeler fans. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, he did.
Well, then James Conner stepped in and was really good.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, well, maybe we can just
And even
kind
for
of
the
plug
ones,
anybody in this
and even
system.
for the ones that are special, whether it's our guy
Nick
or
Chubb is
Christian
special.
McCaffrey or Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs had a really good
Great
year
year.
last year. Did a lot of things. Eckler.
Is
That have
definitely
unique
special.
skill sets that are special, can do a lot of things, have versatility, or even the ones that are superhuman at what they do. Even for those guys who maintain greatness year in and year out, there is not an example of a team that wins it all that way. You got to go back to sort of Seahawks, and then it's way back. Then it's like Denver.
Yeah.
It just isn't how teams are built anymore. You can't win that way. Not with the way the league's officiated, not with the play at the quarterback position. You've got to be able to, your line is the best line I've heard on it. You've got to throw it when they know you're going to throw it. And if you can't do that, you can have all the running backs in the world, you're not winning anything.
Well, and that's why when you think about it, if you're going to pay a running back 10, 12, 15 million dollars a year, would you rather get 80% of that production because maybe you can't fully replicate a Derrick Henry? Mm-hmm. Would you rather get 80% of that production from a couple of guys and then use that $10 million, like as in our case, to be able to afford as a Zadarius Smith? Now, we're very lucky, which is why we talked about this roster being very complete, is that we can have Nick Chubb and Zadarius Smith also to go with Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
But I think most teams would say that $10 million is ultimately better spent on a corner, on a pass rusher, either in the interior or on the edge, an offensive tackle, a wide receiver, a tight end.
Right.
That's just the reality of the league. And when you're a team that has a monster investment into a quarterback, you have to be judicious about where you spend your money.
Yeah.
If they want running backs to get compensated, honestly, I know you kind of laughed at it, and it sounds absurd, but that would be one position where they'd have to come up with a formula for how that position counts against the salary cap.
What I was
it's not gonna
smirking at was, in this instance, if they want. They would be ownership. They don't care. Why would they?
Sure.
You know
Well,
what I
if
mean?
the
They're not
league
benefited.
Because their running backs are stars. I mean, Nick Chubb's the most popular guy on this team.
There's no question.
Period.
There are some examples where they are stars. There's plenty of examples where they're not,
Correct.
where they're anonymous.
Yes, Isaiah Pacheco,
right.
rather anonymous.
Correct. Yeah. So, like, the idea that's why, like what San Francisco's trying to do with Brock Purdy. That's why strike with the iron's hot with McCaffrey, but they did it the other way previously where they was anonymous running backs. Just
Right.
fill them in and make it work. But McCaffrey's got such a specific skill set that for them, with this quarterback situation, it was their easiest path to becoming good. But I don't know if they can get over the top with it. We'll
And their
see.
top two quarterbacks are on rookie deals, Trey Lance
Correct.
and Purdy.
And Purdy.
And now they brought Sam Darnold in, who's playing for nothing at this point in his career.
Yeah.
So their quarterback salaries are nothing.
Are
So they
nothing.
said, we can use that on a supreme weapon. And in Atlanta, while I don't necessarily agree with it, they're saying our quarterback's on a rookie deal. Desmond Ridder. Let's try to we're zigging while everybody else is zagging. We're going to play a different style. And Bijan Robinson apparently is going to line up all over the field and be a slot guy. He's going to be this. He's going to be that. Then I'll go back to doing the Super Bowl with CBS with Pete Prisco and with Brian Westbrook. Mm-hmm. And when we were down there doing some of our shows, and Pete was saying this, that was the Niners Ravens. So that's
New Orleans. I was there.
How long ago was that? Was that
2013, 12, something like that? 14 maybe? Somewhere in there.
A long time ago is what it was. I think maybe 13. Yeah, because it was, that makes sense. Maybe the 13, 2000 what? 10 years ago.
I'd say,
Yeah, that's what I think. And he was saying that. B. West was getting like furious with him, obviously, as a former running back. But what the things that he said, I think, were directionally correct about the fact that, it is it's not the same NFL that it used to be. And there is an abundanza, an abundance of talent at that position and guys who can step in. Elijah Mitchell would come in and average, give you 5 yards. Tyler Algier last year, they found him in Atlanta, 5th round?
Yep.
Goes for 1,000 yards and 5 yards a carry. Like, how much better are you going to get than 5 yards a carry?
No,
Nick Chubb's the only person
He's it. That's the
in
list.
the history of the league that's averaged 5 yards a carry for 5 straight years. Jamal Charles, I think, still has a slight edge on him as the all-time leader in yards per carry, like 5.3 something. The difference between the best of the best, yes, every team would want to have one of those best of the best running backs, but that does not necessarily equate to wins given the confines of a salary cap.
It's just supply and demand.
And there's
Abundance.
a ton of good running backs.
Yeah, and the difference isn't enough. The only thing I've never got an answer to, and we've hypothesized, you and I have talked about it before, I do not understand why running backs fall off so quickly now when they didn't in the 80s. The only thing I can think of is just they stack so many more carries throughout their life. Like if you have an X amount of carries to have over the course of your life.
And I think that we're athletes that are tuned to the absolute limits of our bodies so that it's different.
That part too. Tendons don't grow, yeah.
Why can't pitchers used to go out and throw 300 innings like it was their job? They would throw like the guys would go out and throw complete game after complete game after complete game after complete game. And now people are on pitch counts. Yeah, got to get them out here. You know, it's And they were probably between starts drinking beers and smoking cigarettes,
playing golf and living. Yeah. No, that's I don't know. All right, we will do the positional previews with the defensive line coming up next. Just to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. I broke it down yesterday.
All right. So what do you?
Wait, hold on.
No.
Nope.
All right. What do
There
you?
you go.
What do you think that little table is?
I think yesterday I made the distinction. I believe it to be an outdoor table. I think it's like I think it's an indoor outdoor, but I think it's one that would be you could put outside on a.
It needs to be in the center of what I would call like maybe a couple of low sofas or one low sofa and two
Like
chairs.
lounge
on the
chairs,
edge. Yes.
like lounge chairs or something, like 4 lounge
Yeah.
chairs around it, not recliners. Like,
no,
like
just like a
loungers.
yeah.
yeah. And you put your feet up on it, and
Because Monica earlier came by and sat on the ground and put her drink on it to like sit there.
to like
As a joke.
articulate.
I think she's
yeah.
making a fun.
That's a good job
It was
out
a
of
joke
her.
out of
Yeah.
it. But I don't
Yeah.
know what's that.
Oh, there's
Look
Dom.
at Dom.
Dom knows.
Jeez.
What's he think of the
I don't
table
know,
under?
but he feels like a stock that if you could have gotten in at the ground floor, you're going to be very pleased
Oh my
in
god.
the future. The Dom is trading
Tech stock in
the,
'98. Like
yeah,
you're
the
just
multiples.
gonna
The
just
multiples of Dom are
yeah. It's so much
intense.
talent. There's so much
There's a
talent.
lot of talent
Yeah.
there.
Such a great product too. So it's
Mutual
not just
respect.
likable, but all of it.
kicks.
Yeah.
All of it.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do defensive tackles position preview. Before you get into the specifics of it, Dr. Z, are you okay with this? I talked about this yesterday with AP. Potentially another running back would come into this operation at some point if it doesn't go as well as you want it to go.
Jerome
perhaps.
Ford, I said this on Sirius this morning. Jerome Ford, it is his job to lose, right? I
Yes.
think everybody would be very pleased if we go
If
in
he just went.
and he's good and he can show that he can be a third down back, spell Nick Chubb, handle himself in pass pro. I think everybody would be very happy with that.
And then this position, defensive tackle, if there is a veteran potential, I don't think you'd need anything. You'd love for it to just go as it is, but potentially this position. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else.
I mean,
It's all luxury.
yes and no. Here's what I would say. I'm going to throw one statement out at you and tell me if you agree or disagree.
All right.
The only proven commodity in this room is Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have a lot of potential. Jordan Elliott is a guy that has felt like he's been on the verge of breaking out for a few years. Jim Schwartz is very enamored with him. They think that this scheme, instead of him having responsibilities and allowing him to just attack, is going to really suit him. Maurice Hurst is a guy out of Michigan who's had a lot of potential and has been very productive when on the field, but's basically missed the last 2 full seasons with injury. Siaki Ika, third-round pick, rookie season, huge body, but obviously this is potential. He's an unknown commodity in the National Football League. Tristan Hill, former second-round pick, has bounced around the league. So there's potential that on some level has been unrealized, right? Second-round picks at defensive tackle would ideally be in one place. Perion Winfrey, incredible potential, and we saw the ability in games last year. He would have had multiple sacks over the second half of the season, could become a devastating pass rusher. But Perion's got to want it, and Perion's got to be willing to sacrifice some of the things that you need to make this your lifestyle, to make it the most important thing in the world to you, to be dominant at football. And if he does that, Perion Winfrey very much could be a stud. Togi, third season, I think he's fighting to make this roster.
I agree.
Quite frankly. Michael Dwumfor, again, another guy's kind of bounced around the leagues, had some solid stint with the 49ers. He's fighting to make this roster. I think Jordan Elliott with his contract restructure, Dalvin Tomlinson, Siaki Ika are all 100% locks. Perion Winfrey, in my mind, is a 99.9% lock. The 1% being something wild happens where he is unable to play.
It's possible that the thing that I talked about might already be here. Maurice Hurst.
And it could be. He's got to be healthy. But the name that would make the most sense that's out there is Ndamukong Suh.
Sure.
Knows Jim Schwartz.
Yep.
Very well.
Very well.
Would be in a rotation where he would be very fresh and could give you probably a lot. My guess is something with Ndamukong Suh doesn't happen for any team until into the season, because that's when he knows he's coming back to go for a ring, is my guess. If we're a team of consequence at that point, and we all certainly hope and believe that we will be. The Browns had 4 defensive tackles last year. I could see them carrying 5. I think we could have 10 defensive linemen on this team. So there is that 5th spot. That could be a Maurice Hurst. But I really think it's likely it's Dalvin, Jordan, Perion, Siaki Ika, Maurice Hurst, maybe is a guy that is practice squatted and is able to be there. But that's the way that I see it. These guys are going to battle when the pads come on. This is going to be the thing. Like I said, Perrion is probably maybe even the most talented guy there. Dalvin Thompson would be hard to argue against him as number one, but Perrion from a talent standpoint might be there. So this is a position that there still are maybe some questions here at this position because you have one proven commodity, but you have a lot of talent. And I think that, Jim Schwartz obviously was brought here, Ben Bloom taking over the defense line to get the most out of that talent, and we'll start to see that, I think, when the pads come on, in West Virginia and then throughout the preseason. Remember, 4 preseason games. Like, you're not going to see a lot of Dalvin Tomlinson in the preseason. You're going to see a lot of everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And you have a chance, if you're a Maurice Hurst, to really separate. Perrion to really show how much you've grown and what your talent is. And we've seen how hard he's been working this offseason. Siaki Ika, see how he transitions here into the National Football League. So I think that those 4 games, this is a room where maybe those 4 games are going to help kind of tell a tale. I'll go back to when we had Malik McDowell. Mm-hmm. The way that he dominated and ragdolled third stringers in the preseason, you're like, okay, this guy's a real dude. And then he ended up starting week 1 against the Chiefs.
Yeah, in those games and in those joint practices. Those are the 2 times.
Well, yeah.
Let's do the defensive ends while we're here and knock the defensive line positional preview out of the mix. Obviously, this one is really good at the top. It's 3 deep, maybe more. You mentioned the number game, though, and it does get interesting here as well.
Miles, Zadarius, Obo Okoronkwo, and Alex Wright are all making this team. That's 4. We're going to carry 5, maybe 6.
Yep.
Is the reality of it. Isaiah McGuire, obviously you drafted him this year. They like him very much. And then Isaiah Thomas, the 2 Isaiahs, who has developed. He just is productive. Had a sack last year, sacked Joe Burrow on that Monday night game, recovered a fumble the very next week in Baltimore. Will they try to slide maybe Isaiah Thomas to the practice squad, given that he was a 7th-round pick the year before? That's possible. But boy, can you have 10? Can you have 11 DBs? Because our defensive linemen, let's say you had 10 defensive linemen. You're going to have at least 6 linebackers. That's 16. And then I think you have 10 DBs. So I think and the splits we kept coming up with was 26-24.
Yeah.
That's where you could be. But can you have 11 defensive linemen? I don't think so.
No.
And it feels like maybe on the offensive line you can get away with 9 because you could have your 2 tackles, the backup center, and then a backup guard, and then you have a lot of guys you probably can keep on your practice squad, keep here, and with the new rules, their ability to go up, multiple times a season, you'd be in pretty good shape there. And of course, there's always unfortunately, there are going to be injuries from what we may think the 53 is right now.
I'm under no. I'm not going to oversell this, but I mean, we saw last year when Philly came to town that we weren't there.
Yeah,
it was abundantly clear.
It's going to be a big week
that we weren't there. That week will tell if you've done enough. It feels like you have. You've done about all you can do. You've got free agency. You've drafted. You've done all of the things. Did you check the correct boxes? You'll find out in Philly. That's when you'll have an idea. A pretty good lead on what you are, because they bullied us last year here.
Yeah.
And look, they're the best 2 fronts in the league. Their defense and offensive.
Yep.
They're apex. So you're not getting better than what they do. The question is, can you be respectable against them on the 2 lines of scrimmage? And if you can, then you're onto something.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but by that point, when we did play Philly, Jacoby was taking that's the transition. It kind of happened.
Didn't that happen while they were here?
Yeah.
Or what it
was like that week, because that was our second preseason game, and it was after the Jacksonville game. That was it. Like, Deshaun made appearance in Jacksonville, and then that was it. It was Jacoby's team from that point forward.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen Deshaun against them.
No. Yeah, I was trying to remember the chronology of that.
It's a great test for our secondary.
Yeah.
Against their excellent pass catchers. It's going to be a great test for the lines, and the interior of their line is elite. I think they did the guard Isaac Simualu went to the Steelers, so he won't be there, but you're going to get full work. We heard Lane Johnson was in the top 10 tackles. Both of their guys were top. They were 5 and 6.
Yeah, 5 and 6.
So for Miles and Zadarius and Obo, like, that's good work. So you're going to get really good work there. And if we come out of that feeling like, okay, we're at this level, that's what you want to feel like, because then you know that we are what we think we are.
Yeah. I think you've checked. I think you did I think Andrew Berry did everything he could do at his power save
Yes.
for potentially adding Ndamukong Suh. But
Yes.
that's not of his own choosing. That would be just of Ndamukong Suh's choosing. If he chooses to play football or chooses to play here, he can play football wherever he wants.
Yes.
But that's about the only other thing you could do. You've checked every other box that can be checked.
Yes.
So it's just a matter of, do all of the guys play to the potential together in Schwartz's system at a level that gets you in the vicinity of what Philly is? And if you are, you don't have to go toe to toe with them and beat them. You don't have to do that. That's not required. But you've got to be not bullied. Last year I kind of felt like we were when we played them. Everybody was, as it turned out. That's when we realized, the only thing when we got done with that week, I'll never forget this. Sirianni was having a presser. And we said, everything else, it's just, can Jalen Hurts go?
Yeah, and that was the consensus. But what we don't want to have is when we were kind of feeling pretty good coming off of the 2014 season, and you go up to Buffalo 2015 joint practice, and you're like, we just got whooped.
Then.
Yeah, so that'll be a very telling week.
Yeah. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Big night tonight for Zago, his former favorite show, Justified. They're launching a new series tonight. A lot of the same people. Raylan Givens is back.
Yeah.
Wasn't this Zago's show? Justified?
Oh, God, loved it. Yeah. Timothy Oliphant's doing the
he's
rounds.
Back.
He's back.
He's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was Sheriff Seth Bullock in Deadwood.
Yeah.
Two of my favorites.
Have you gotten through quarterback? Have you gone through the whole thing yet?
No.
I want to. I think that's going to be part of my Greenbrier experience.
Yeah, I'm not there.
Yeah.
I told you, I'm not there with football yet.
Well, we are.
One minute.
The timing on that was amazing. I'm not there with football yet.
And the
then
music.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was like it was.
Well, it's like-
good job out of Paulus.
And
That
we
was
are
very
there.
Good. And we are.
And it's true.
It will hit you like Saturday, then you'll be okay. I'm all in, and it'll be the following week probably for me. Yeah, it just seems early.
Yeah, because it is.
It is early. Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
earlier than normal. The next level is coming up next. We are back tomorrow. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
Show, guys.